Welcome to the Produce Moms Podcast, where we believe there is a produce mom in all of us. I'm Lori Taylor, founder and CEO of the Produce Moms. For 10 years, I sold fresh produce to over 300 grocery stores in the U.S. And today, my team and I are fully focused on inspiring people to eat more fruits and vegetables. This show is just one of the ways that we hope to inspire you and your family to eat more produce and live a better life. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, join our community of almost 40,000 in all 50 states and over 30 countries by visiting theproducemoms.com/subscribe. And be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. Thanks for being here. Enjoy today's show. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of the Produce Moms Podcast. I'm extremely excited about our guest today. I know that we've been coming at you with thought leadership and industry experts as it relates to the world of agriculture. And today we are bringing to the spotlight yet another thought leader and industry expert, and truly someone with just a world-renowned presence. But I think that you will all join me in quickly identifying that this gentleman does not necessarily have a role that's part of the food supply chain. It's rather he is a practicing professional and a thought leader that truly believes in the power of fresh produce as it relates to all of our lives. So very excited to welcome Lee Holden. He is a doctor of Chinese medicine. He's an acupuncturist. He is a world-renowned teacher of Qi Gong, meditation, holistic healthcare. He's based in Santa Cruz, California, and he's here today on the Produce Moms Podcast.
Hey, Lori, so good to be here. Thanks so much. And I love this idea of healthy eating and produce for kids. I've been raising 3 kids. I got twin 11-year-olds and an 8-year-old, 3 girls.
Oh.
And feeding them and getting them healthy is one of my main goals. So any tips, tools, and resources to be able to move through that with ease and effortlessness is such a wonderful thing. And, something I teach is Chinese medicine, and food is one kind of energy that we get. So we want to give food its proper place because it's so important, especially in our little ones, but it's just one kind of energy. In Chinese, it's called gu qi, which gu means food and qi means your energy or your aliveness. So we get energy from the food we eat, and we eat healthy food, we get better energy. But in Chinese medicine and in the practice that I teach, food is one kind of qi. There's other kinds of qi like breath. Breath is a quick source of energy, and being out in nature and our relationships, the love and support that we get is another kind of qi. So I basically have an expertise at working with qi and all its many forms. And that's what Qigong means. It means life force energy and how to be skillful at working with that life force energy so that we lead happy, healthy lives. And then we can teach our kids and be in those support roles for happy, healthy kids, which obviously makes us happier, healthier parents. So yeah. I love the whole thing.
Yeah. And as you're talking, it's reminding me of your latest show, Less Stress and More Energy.
Yeah. And who doesn't want that, right?
I mean, sign me up.
Yeah. Put me on the number 1 spot on that list. Less stress, more energy. I mean, if we distill Qigong into what it's all about, that's exactly it. It's less stress, more energy. How do we clear the stress, whether it manifests in our bodies as tension in our neck and shoulders, low back pain, hips, headaches, whatever that stress manifestation is in your body, let's get rid of it. Let's clear it. Let's transform it. And energy just means that overall feeling of aliveness within you. Do we wake up in the morning feeling charged up? We get through our day fully charged. What replenishes our energy, and how do we kind of charge up our batteries and fill up our tanks so that we're the best parents that we can be? Because let's face it, when our energy goes down, we get snappy. We say things to our kids we don't mean. We don't enjoy parenting as much as we can. And then we need those replenishing strategies so that we can fill up and be effective as parents and as people living here on earth.
Yes. And it is as if, not as if. What you have done is you've taken this, ancient practice of Chinese medicine, and you've really translated it into the modern Western lives, American lifestyles, this busy, chaotic life that, I mean, certainly all of our Produce Moms fans and followers are living. And I think, speaking anecdotally, pretty much every American is, and especially in comparison to other parts of the world. So, I definitely want to almost start with just a really quick, like 101, because I'm sure I'm not the only person that prior to really researching what you do, Lee, and being connected with you, I probably am not the only one, on the conversation today that has very little knowledge of what Qigong even is, you know? And I was like, oh, is it Tai Chi? Like, what is this? So if you don't mind, I'd like to actually start right with that point, like help all of our listeners understand exactly what this practice is that you're so passionate about.
Wonderful. Yeah. So Qi means energy. Gong means skill. So we're working at skill, and it often refers to, let's say, a health and wellness practice, a stress management practice, an exercise form. So think of Qigong as if yoga and Tai Chi had a baby. It's got stretching, it's got breathing exercises, but it also has flowing movements. It's just easier and more accessible than maybe these two practices, because we don't need any fancy clothes. You don't need to put your ankles behind your ears. Not that you have to in yoga, but it's just an easy way to access your internal energy and an easy way to clear stress out of the system. The interesting thing about Qigong is it's the most widely practiced form of exercise in the whole world.
Whoa.
Like 80
I had
million
no
to
idea.
100 million people practice it each and every day. It's just not well known yet in the Western world. Right. I kind of think Qigong is sort of where yoga was maybe 20 years ago. It's just starting to rise. And, with things like public television and working with, corporations like Weight Watchers, I've been able to bring Qigong into a more mainstream approach that makes it accessible for us as Westerners and gives us some tools and resources that we greatly need in order to lead healthy, happy lives. And it's just a wonderful feel-good practice that you can do in a short amount of time and give you really good results in what you're seeking.
Sure. So you have your practice in Santa Cruz, which we talked about briefly in the introduction. You've obviously shared here so far in the conversation that you've worked with, corporate giants, respected corporate giants, whether it's Weight Watchers. I know from pre-show conversations, you've done work with Google, Apple, even Happy Gilmore Productions, public television. You are the founder and the owner of HoldenQigong.com. So there is no shortage of, just thought leadership and research and practice within what you've done. And I really want now to just understand how can this practice of Qigong help busy moms feel less stressed, more vitalized, energized? I mean, do you have any hard examples from your many different practices and your history with this that you can share with our listeners?
Absolutely. I mean, being a parent myself, I know that we need energy, like this morning, making 3 lunches, getting kids up, feeding the dog, getting them off to school. Sometimes you get them to school on time with a healthy breakfast and a healthy lunch, and you feel like you deserve a medal. And so we need energy to be able to do that. It's kind of an accomplishment. It's no easy task because, our kids need that infusion of positive energy, even maybe when they're feeling sleepy or tired or not resourced. So I think, Qigong helps us to get into that zone, that flow state where we feel our best selves, that we're bringing our best selves into all the activities of our lives. And, what better place to do that than with our kids? In our culture, we look at peak performance as for the athletes or the musicians or the performers or the artists. But really, having peak performance for moms, I think would change the world. And so I love bringing this kind of work into parenting and, everyday life situations where we can bring better energy and our best selves into what we're doing. And I think Qigong gives us those tools and resources, because when we're depleted of energy, we are overwhelmed. And when we're overwhelmed, life feels stressful. We don't have energy to deal with it. So this is what it does. It gives you that energy to deal with all of life's demands.
I love that. Well, I'm already sold. I want to, I know this is something I need to adopt and get active on right away. But how do you connect what you know and do with Qigong to fresh produce and healthy eating as a whole?
Oh, yeah, because eating is, I think we need to reframe what eating is all about, because we're eating for energy. We're eating for Qi. So when you are eating food, we have to think about it. Why am I eating food? It's for energy, to give your body sustenance for what it needs. And, the Qi of food is so important. So organic, locally produced, good sources of veggies and fruit give us that Qi that we need to get through our days and to keep us healthy. It sustains us. And
the ultimate Qi it's fruits and vegetables.
It really is.
Yeah.
Veggies, things that are alive. Too often our kids are eating stuff that don't have a lot of Qi, whether it's,
highly processed
candy and processed foods and everything else, which, it's always so frustrating to me, that, these school luncheons, my kids were doing these test takings and they're like, oh yeah. And the teacher just kept coming by with, Starburst and candy, oh, you got to keep your energy up. Here's some sugar. And I was like, that is such a false sense of energy, because in the long run, it's depleting. And it's not that the kids shouldn't have sugar or be kids or whatever. It's just that we need to give them those healthy sources of energy through food, as frequently as we can,
Natural plant-based foods, 100%. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I would expand, think about what energy is, because food is a slower source of energy. There's some quick sources of energy like breath. If you teach your kids, or if you yourself are breathing better, you are bringing more energy, life force into your body, because we can go hours, days without food, but we can only go minutes without breath. So if you want a quick source to energy, something alternative to food, slow, deep breathing. And maybe what I can do is just guide listeners through.
Let's do it.
Will help to transform stress into vitality and recharge. So, so let's do this. So the breath that you want to do to recharge or to clear stress is in through the nose and out through the nose. And try doing it very slowly, like this refined, silky smooth breath that starts in your belly and rises all the way up to your chest. And then focus on a long, slow exhale. So it's a slow inhale all the way up to the chest, and then a slow, relaxed exhale out through the nose. And about 30 seconds to a minute of that breathing just switches your nervous system from stress mode to relaxation mode, and it helps to recharge those internal batteries, giving you a fresh supply of Qi and some access to some very positive energy.
Yeah. And that is something that, I did it as you were just walking all of our listeners through it.
I could tell.
It feels great. Can you tell?
I can tell you were doing it.
And as I was doing it too, I was reminded, my children are very close in age to your children, 11-year-old son, a 9-year-old son. And sometimes it breaks my heart at how much stress our children are carrying in comparison to the stress that I had at those ages. It's a more competitive world. There's a lot of testing at school I didn't necessarily have. There's expectations in sports that didn't exist when I was a kid. And really all extracurriculars. I don't care if you're a musician, an artist, or an athlete. But that practice I just did right there as I was doing it, I was like, I need to do this with my kids.
Yeah, it's great. And they like it too. I just say, hey, okay, before dinner starts, let's take 4 slow, deep breaths. Let's think about what we're grateful for our day. Before going to sleep, I integrate breathing maybe into a story. It's like I'll tell a story about a lion, and then the lion goes and takes 2 or 3 deep breaths, and I can hear them taking deep breaths. So I don't necessarily always do it directly. You can even do indirectly, and kids are very responsive to that. And their energy systems are so responsive to even a little bit of positive energy or positive techniques that it's really nice to have those tools for our children.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm thankful that you just walked all of us through that practice, because I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one that will reference this podcast as I implement this in my own home. I'm very impressed and also very inspired with how it is. We hear a lot right now as we are all trying to become, more better stewards to our bodies and our lifestyle, and, just this concept of mindfulness. What are you doing to be a more mindful parent? What are you doing to be a more mindful eater? Like, I'm that this practice of Qi Gong is a great first step.
It is. I often call Qigong mindfulness in motion. And it's nice because sometimes mindfulness is a meditative practice where you sit down and do some mindful techniques. But if you put it in motion, it actually translates into your life better, so that you feel more mindful in your activities and what it is you're doing. So instead of meeting life's demands with stress, tension, and tightness, what I like to train and help coach people through is to meet life's demands with relaxation, flow, and effortless power, which is kind of Qigong lingo for doing the practice, but it translates really well to life. And then we get into that flow state where we're feeling energized, connected, and enjoying all these different steps that parenting has to offer. Because let's face it, each year your parenting skills and techniques start to change because your child is changing. So the skills that you needed and the energy you needed for babies and toddlers is really different than 11, 12-year-olds or teenagers. And so we need a tool set that gives us the energy to be able to flow with life's demands and not get all stressed out, tense, tight, and depleted from it, and something that will recharge us. And one of the things I do, I have a 30-day challenge that's just 7 minutes each and every day. So you don't have to take a lot of time, because sometimes parents are super busy. So I've done some routines that are 7 minutes long, and I find that these are great for moms to do with their kids, because it is only 7 minutes and kids have the attention span for that. And then both moms or dads and kids get a nice dose of energy and stress relief, which is quite wonderful.
Yep. I'm signing up. I'm sold. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. No, that's, thank you for sharing that, because I really am sincere. I'm signing up. So I know that from the beginning of the show, and our pre-show conversations and notes, I'm very intrigued with the work that you've done with Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers is it's just an iconic brand and effort, and really just a movement and lifestyle in the United States. And you've been working with them for over 2 years. So I'd love for you to share a little bit more about what your work with Weight Watchers specifically entails. And, anything that you've realized through this work, like what is that common challenge, or what is that common thread that connects moms in their quest for weight loss?
Oh yeah, it's a big thing, because it starts with eating, it starts with stress, it starts with sleep, it's all encompassing. Weight gain isn't just about what we're eating, it's also about how much stress we're carrying, because when we're stressed out, your body doesn't metabolize food because it's thinking it's under danger. So that fight or flight response in our nervous system takes energy away from the digestion and puts it in our muscles. So if we're constantly stressed out, your metabolism shuts down or gets depleted, and your muscles get tense and tight. And so what I did with Weight Watchers was part of their kind of global innovation and beyond the scale programs, which I gave them healthy movement, healthy mind techniques. So we designed what we called Qi Flow classes, and all the leaders of Weight Watchers on-site teams and locations were trained in these Qigong techniques and brought them into their classrooms. And it was phenomenal. The executives were telling me this is the best pilot that Weight Watchers has ever run. And we toured the whole country. We went international with it, and we just had amazing results and feedback. So it was just an extraordinary experience for me to bring something like this into an organization that was really focusing on health and wellness from one perspective, and to be able to add this perspective to it and see it so well received and effective was amazing. And again, it's like I said, it doesn't take a long time, and a little bit goes a long way in clearing stress, getting the body moving, and that helps tremendously with metabolism. And the result, the side effects of doing it, not only is weight loss, but more energy, better sleep, less pain, which all of us could use.
Right. And a great starting point, like you said, is that 30-day challenge you have. 7 minutes a day, everyone. We all have 7 minutes a day. So look forward to, at the end of the show, before we sign off, I definitely want you to share with folks where they can find that, because I'm going to want to know too. But not quite ready to close this out. I've got more questions.
Please do. Let's dive in more.
All right. So,
I love sharing.
I think that anytime I speak with someone, people like you and we all, and all the other folks that we've showcased on this show, you're the type of person that makes the world go round. The passion that you have is unprecedented for your practice and for your career. So I want to know, what's your why and how did you get there? What inspired you to learn everything that you have about Qigong, and why are you so dedicated to this?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I've been doing Qigong for over 30 years, and it really started with an injury. I had a devastating low back injury playing collegiate soccer that I thought was going to just sideline me for the whole season. And I did the Western medicine approach with cortisone and painkillers and some physical therapy, and it really didn't work. So as a young 10-year-old, I had done martial arts. And I saw this martial artist break a stack of bricks, and I was jaw dropped. And I said, well, how did you do that? And he looked at me and he said, I did it with Qi. And then very emphatically, he said, but Qi is not for hurting people. It's for healing. And so I remember this as I was, a month into this injury. I was like, I'm going to go see that guy. Qi is for healing. So I went to my hometown. He did acupuncture on me, and he showed me Qigong exercises. And I was better in a week. And
wow.
I was just astounded by the healing power that just happened in my body. And it really was a catalyst for me. I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. And so what I thought was the worst thing that ever happened to me turned out to be one of the best. And when I graduated college, I was hired as a ghostwriter by a master in Thailand. And I did, 12 trips to Asia, China, Thailand, working with Qigong masters and writing books, for them, and learning it in a way that we as Westerners could use as something in our lifestyle. So I distilled maybe some of these esoteric techniques, kind of took out the cultural things with it, and made it really practical for us Westerners. Yeah.
And that's amazing that you had results within 1 week, you said. Is that a typical timeline? Is it really within 1 week you're going to be able to see and feel results?
Now that I've done this for 30 years, you see results right away because you start to feel relaxed and recharged in your body. It doesn't always bring you a solution to your problem that quickly, but teenagers at 19, your body already has a lot of healing power and a lot of energy. And if you guide it in the right way, you can get very quick results. And I think what's important to realize is that our bodies have tremendous healing power. And that if we remove the blocks and charge up the system, your body heals itself. And too often in our Western thought, we feel like we need to take something to make ourselves better. But often taking that something creates another problem or a third problem that, gives us in the cycle of a downward spiral. And if we have tools and resources for ourselves to take charge of our health and healing, it's tremendously empowering.
Right. No, it's so true. So obviously most of the folks that pay attention to what we do at the Produce Moms and follow along and are part of our active community, they're moms, and a lot of them have young families, children like our kids' ages or even younger. And so, let's talk about just efficiencies. Is there a way to, is there a shortcut to this? I don't know if there's really shortcuts to anything in life, but I guess I'm still just kind of, a little taken aback by how quickly this practice can benefit your life. So I want to share a little bit more about that before we close out today. I mean,
yeah, that's great, because that is the thing. A little bit goes a long way. And I think consistent practice, that's why I have this 30-day challenge of only 7 minutes. It's that consistency and habituation that gives us really good results. You know, it's like energetic hygiene. You brush your teeth and you get good results if you brush your teeth twice a day. If you do Qigong twice a day, you keep your energy clear and elevated, which gives you really good results as well. You know, I think one of the problems that we find in America, both with children, parents, and people, is that we don't move our bodies enough and we don't get outside enough. You know, I just read a statistic that children are spending on average about 20 minutes outside every day, where, 20 years ago was 4 hours. And so we're in front of screens, we're sedentary, which obviously causes weight issues, but it causes a lot more. It causes fatigue and low energy. I mean, if you think about it, nobody drives in a car for 3 or 4 hours and steps out and feels like, oh, I'm so energized. Movement creates energy. So if we periodically through the day do some Qi breaks, 7 minutes or so, we recharge the whole system and you become incredibly more efficient. So you get a lot more done because you have a lot more energy. So I always find that when I'm really busy, I do more Qigong because I'm more efficient. I feel like I don't have time not to do the practice.
So when you do your practice, like on a busy day, can a Qigong break be as brief as a few minutes? Or
Absolutely.
do you? Okay.
It can be just, 2 or 3 minutes of slow, deep breathing like we did. Maybe I can take your listeners through a quick reset and recharge.
Please.
You can do this like at your desk or, just standing up. You don't want to do this while you're driving because we're going to activate your Qi by stimulating some points on your hands.
Okay.
So one of the first things we want to do in Qigong practice is activate energy. And this will give you a little boost of vitality. So if you take your fingernails and just touch them, those first 4 fingers, touch the fingernails and just rub back and forth so that your fingernails are going back and forth, and even that first knuckle, and do it vigorously. Go back and forth because the ends of those pressure points are on the fingertips. And
so my hands are touching each other when I do this?
Yeah, your fingernails are touching, and then you go back and forth.
Got it. I'm doing it. Okay.
You're doing it. You got it. And so you get this little sound. It's like your Qigong manicure.
Yeah. Big time.
So now take 2 or 3 of those slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose like we just did. So you're bringing the energy in through the breath, and then you're stimulating or activating the energy with these pressure points. So fingernails are going back and forth vigorously, and you take a nice deep breath. And after about 30 seconds or so, you bring your hands down to your sides or in your lap, and you should feel this buzzing and tingling in your hands.
Whoa, yes.
Can you feel that?
Yes, I can.
So your body is full of energy. And if you think about it, everything in nature is full of energy. We as human beings are rare creatures that we disconnect from nature, that we have internalized stress, and we feel cut off from our source of energy. We don't find, the waves in the ocean waking up in the morning, I'm too tired to wave. Birds don't wake up in the morning, I'm too tired to sing. But we feel this depletion of energy when nature is full of energy that we just need to tap back in and activate with some skillful ways. Can you guys feel that your hands are buzzing and tingling like this electricity in your fingertips?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that sensation is what we call Qi. And Qi has a lot to do with blood flow and how the whole body works. So once we energize, everything in your body works more efficiently. And of course, it's a great way to clear stress and tension.
So just repeat that a couple times.
Okay. So after you feel this energy in your hands, it's a wonderful way to activate your internal energy or your Qi. It's a wonderful way to clear stress and tension and give yourself a little reset, because everything inside of you needs energy to work, whether it's your heartbeat, your nervous system, or your mind. All these systems within you need a fresh supply of energy. I mean, we do this with all our devices. We plug them in. If we don't plug them in, the batteries get depleted and they don't work. And we're the same. We got to recharge. We got to plug in and reset.
I love it. So this has been an amazing episode. I have learned so much. I'm ready for that 30-day challenge. I'm still doing the Qi with my fingertips right now as I talk.
That's awesome. You might find yourself doing it more often, just doing it periodically through the day, charge up.
Yeah, no, I love it. Lee, this has been truly a pleasure. I mean, I have learned so much. I'm inspired. I immediately, just by going through these brief practices that you shared on today's show, I do feel energized. I do feel like I'm telling you, all of our listeners right now, I'm telling you this works. So Lee, I want to make sure that we can direct everyone who's listening today to your 30-day challenge, to your website, any social media feeds, or anywhere else where people can go to, follow along and participate.
No, that's wonderful. Thanks so much for having me, Lori. The place to go is holdenqigong.com. So Holden, Holden, that's my last name. And Qi Gong, the hardest part of this practice is how to spell it. It's Qigong, Qigong.com. So holdenqigong.com. And on there's a 30-day challenge. In fact, there's a get started button. You get 5 of those days for free if people wanted to try it. And I think you put in your email and you get 5 of the days for free to try. We also have all kinds of wonderful workshops and classes and programs that were on PBS, like Qigong for anxiety, Qigong for more energy, Qigong for upper back and neck. There's quite a menu of things that you can choose from to try out. So it's been wonderful to be here and be your guest and help to educate people on what Qigong really is all about.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Produce Moms Podcast. If you or someone you know would like to be a featured guest, just send an email to lori@theproducemoms.com. We know there is a produce mom in you because there's a produce mom in all of us. Join our community on Facebook and all social platforms. Help us change the way America eats. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.